Hello and welcome to another episode of Blue Moon Travelers. Today naata sa Davao del Sur. Specifically sa Gihing Davao del Sur where the factory or a processing plant called Davao Sugar Central is located. Davao del Sur is an agricultural province where one of the crops here that is being grown is ang tubo. So from the farmlands, kung asa ang tubo, ginatapas or ginaharvest ang tubo, ginakarga sa truck o ginadala diri to be milled. This place has been established way back 1967 or 1970s by then Congressman Almendras, and during the 90s it was bought by Good Channel family under Philinvest, and it has been upgraded since then. So it's still, until now, from 1967, it's still catering to the farmers of Davao del Sur, which you can see behind me is how they mill. Usually the milling or the traditional milling is kanang ginabutang siya sa duha ka grinding, what we call the grinding stones, where the juice of the sugarcane is being extracted and processed. Now it's still, I think it is still the same, but with more mechanized and more upgraded technologies such as what you see behind. Ginakarga ang mga tubo sa ingani ng mga cases or called baskets, or ginaalsa o ginaload sa trucks. These baskets are being owned by some farmers, and then it will be processed and bought to the factory that we see there. Unfortunately, the factory is off limits due to safety reasons, so we can just view it from here. Davao Sugar Central is a very big complex. It has its own administrative buildings such as these, and then you see here the farmers waiting to gain or to get their earnings for the sugarcane na gikarga o gimill there is a Davao Sugar Central. It's quite a sight to see that the agricultural business in the Philippines, or specifically in Davao, is really thriving. Behind me is what we call baskets that are being loaded behind trucks para magkarga og tubo, and it's been stocked here waiting for their turn to be milled sa factory, as you can see. These are the trucks that are going to dump or deliver their sugarcane to the factory. Very impressive synchronization of machines to produce the simplest sugar that you can be found on your tables, on your baking ingredients, or in your sodas. Stepping in one of those baskets, very Magneto would have a day here. What you see in front is the cooling mechanism, or the water that cools the machines that are grinding and producing and milling the sugar. You can just imagine the amount of water that is being needed to cool those machines, especially in the Philippines where it's really hot. They are getting that water, or the source of that water is from the river nearby. I spent my childhood here. When I was still a kid, my mother would bring me here during the summer days to help her with the business. I used to play in this very huge field over here. This has been my playground, along with other kids that are being brought by their parents way back then. You can see the steam that's powering the big engines, the big pistons that are grinding to produce the sugar. And you can just imagine the size of the machines that is in there. We're waiting for our turn. After 2 hours of waiting, we have our certificate of earnings, and we will look for a buyer after this. It's a really hot day. We'll look for a buyer and bring home the bacon. The only thing that you need to bring when you are going to the farm is water for you to hydrate. It is worth to note that the other locations in the Philippines, cities or regions that produce sugarcane are Bukidnon, Bacolod, Negros, and way up north, the sugarcane plantation owned by the Aquinos in Tarlac. So those are, to name a few, sugarcane producers of the Philippines. The Philippine government also, like other crops such as fish and rice, also imports sugarcane. That is why the prices vary from time to time, or there are calamities that affect the production of sugar. Luckily for Mindanao, the southern part of Mindanao, especially in Davao del Sur, no such huge calamities have occurred. So the production of sugarcane continues. The water that is used to cool down the big machines that grind. Today is a really hot day, 32 degrees outside, but feels like more than that. These are the places or the garage area where the trucks that has fixed cargo spaces are being held before their number are called for them to deliver their sugarcane to the mill.